Hello dreamers, and welcome back to Dream Queen by Perla. As always guys, thank you for your love and support. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing to the channel, and if you haven't done so, I encourage you to do so. It helps with growing the channel, getting the video out there for more people, as well as keeping me accountable. For personal readings, all that information can be found down below in the description. So we have Pisces Aries Cusp, and again guys, these are general readings, so only take whatever applies. We have this energy of like recollecting or remembering. There's this energy of it's just like it's recollecting. It's almost kind of giving me this energy of maybe some of you jumping back into something that you left halfway, or something that you did as a child, maybe getting back into a hobby or something of that matter. For some of you, you're returning back into the workforce, maybe after having kids, or maybe after being out for an illness or something like that. For others of you is for those of you that this has to do with relationship, is like you're re-engaging or you're reconnecting the dating scene, and it's like you're recalling, you're like, I don't recollect things being this way, because it's something of that matter. Like you're stepping into a familiar situation, but from what you recall from all of that is not the same. For others of you, it's like if this is in regards to like going back to school or something like that, you're like, yo, this is not supposed to be this hard. So you're comparing a situation or something that you're going into at this moment in time with how it was in the past, right? So like, let's say if you want to learn another language, you're like, okay, it was not this hard when I learned, you know, a second language or a third language. So there's something that is challenging, or something that you weren't expecting it to be the way that it is. You were expecting it to be exactly how it was like 10 years ago when you did it, right? You weren't expecting something to be as challenging as it is presenting itself to be at this moment in time. And that's perfectly fine. This gives you a space to grow. This gives you a space to evolve. And it also kind of helps you release some of that rigidness, or some of that controlling energy where you want things to be specifically the same. Okay. For those of you that this has to do specifically with love, there's reminiscing. I feel that for specifically for these people that has to do with love, you're remembering somebody who's passed, whether it was your husband, your wife. They passed, and they may have passed away, you know, a year or two ago, or maybe even longer. The whole point is that at this moment in time, you feel ready to not so much get out there to start dating, but you're no longer saying that you never will. So you're open to the idea of it. But even if somebody starts to flirt with you, or somebody shows an interest in you, all you're doing is thinking of your significant other that has passed away. And then you're comparing whoever it is that is trying to get to know you to that person that passed away. It's almost like some of you feel like that was a love of a lifetime, and it's never going to happen again. And there is many different types of relationships and different types of love. And for those of you that are dealing with that, it's like, you know, you're not dishonoring your spouse that passed away by moving on, because I'm pretty sure if you feel that they were the love of your life, like there was no other love like that, then wouldn't they want you to be happy? Just because you move on doesn't mean that you forget about who they were to you, how you were with them, and it doesn't mean that you don't celebrate their life, right? The life that they lived, and it doesn't mean that you don't honor them, because a lot of the times people think like, well, you know, oh, so-and-so moved on so fast. So-and-so moved on. Oh, so-and-so never moved on. And it's like, regardless of whether you move on too fast or too slow, whatever it is, when it comes to other people, everybody's always going to have an opinion. So just kind of be aware of that. You're here to live your experience, not anyone else's. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and let's pull out a love energy card. Now the love energy card, It's about relationships, any type, romantic, platonic, spirituality, and with yourself. We have healing family issues. Your love life benefits as you forgive your parents. So there's an energy here of whatever it is that you are engaging in, whether it's a new relationship, whether it's a new job, whatever it is. Stop comparing it to the past. Excuse me. Allow yourself to stop doing that. Every experience in itself, regardless of how similar they are, is an experience in itself. It has going to have something that is unique. And when we continue to bring past experiences into our current one and comparing them, then we do not allow ourselves to fully embrace the current experience that we're having. So let's go ahead and let's pull out a closing message. I was say love, but it's a closing message. So what is the closing message, Spirit? What is the closing message for Pisces Aries Cusp? This is one card, please. One card. Align your life. What is not aligned or needs to change? What has to change? What is no longer aligned with you? Comparing your past experiences to the current one. Now, remember, guys, and I always say this a lot if you've been watching me for a while, our past experiences are there for us to learn lessons. Not whether you consider them to be good or bad, they were there for a lesson, right? What that means is that moving forward, when you go into similar experiences, you know what works and what didn't work. And one of the things that we have to always realize is that every season or every change, every shift is going to require some type of realignment, because as you continue to evolve, as you continue to grow, you're going to have to change certain things. And when I say change or tweak certain things, I'm not telling you to reinvent yourself in a complete way that nobody recognizes you from one day to the next. I am just saying, like, little tweaks. These can be, the amount of time that you're spending doing research, the amount of time that you're spending exercising, the amount of time you're spending talking, the amount of this time you're spending in solitude, the amount of time you're spending in meditation. These little tweaks can be very little and very minimal, right? Maybe you're somebody that for a while meditated for 6 hours a day, and now the tweak is you're going to be meditating for 10 minutes a day, and you're like, no, if I only meditate 10 minutes, how am I going to get the benefit for and it's like, hey, align yourself with what you're being asked to do now, right? You needed those 6 hours because you couldn't meditate for 10. There's this quote that I always read. It says, if you can't meditate for 10 minutes, then you should be meditating for an hour, right? Because when you've mastered something to a certain degree, it becomes that much easier. And that's kind of like the way that you have to look at your life and the situations this week. Well, guys, that is all that I have. Sending every single one of you love, strength, and blessing. Guys, take care. Love you all. Mwah. Bye-bye.